right, Egyptologists at home, it's time to continue our weekly series, Doodling with Purpose, learning ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. And like the past couple weeks, we're going to focus on new words and building our vocabulary. But first, let's go through last week's homework. So, hopefully you have written down, paused, and written down this sentence so you had all week to kind of look at it, noting one of those words is a proper noun. I think I gave that clue at the end. All right, so the first thing is let's divide it up into words, because that's the easiest way to read it. And you're probably starting to notice it's getting easier and easier to do this. If you see a determinative, it's the end of a word. And you'll start to recognize other words, so that's going to help you know where words start and stop. All right, so let's read this one. So we have pa, and in front of that is f, followed by the determinative of a man or a person, a male, actually. So this, if you remember, is son, and by putting the F in front of it, it becomes his son. So his son, pa, with the determinative. All right, and next up we have a word you hopefully remember because we did this way back when, and it's the word murray. M-R, that's the hoe tool there, or the garden tool, followed by two papyrus leaves, which are Y. So Murray, and Murray can mean either love, loved, or beloved. And again, knowing which translation to use is going to determine based on the full sentence. And as you read it, you'll say, oh, yes, that word, that translation works better. And then finally, we have skat, the broom, the vulture, and the loaf, t. So, skat, this is, of course, that proper noun I warned you about, and oh, gee, what a shocker which proper noun it is. It's my name, Scott. Yes, this is how I write my name in hieroglyphics. So, the full sentence is, his son, beloved, Scott. Or, just like in French, it would be, his beloved son, Scott, because beloved comes after son. After the noun comes the description. So, his beloved son, Scott. So this could go to my father, right? Maybe my father wrote this about his beloved son and how much he loves me. All right, so makes sense in how the noun is coming after the description and the proper noun there. So let's get into some new words, and we're going to explore some interesting concepts. So here we have iau. So we have the papyrus, we have the vulture, and then we have the chick for W, which is plural. And then we have a determinative of a man leaning over using a stick. So this word means old men or old man. The W, the plural, is what makes it the old, meaning the old in general, like, going to a retirement community and seeing the old. Now, the same exact word, if we were to change the determinative from a man leaning on a stick to a man holding his arms out towards the air, changes it from the old to praise. Same word, all we did was change the determinative. And that's how determinatives work again. So let's look at that in a sentence. So here we have the horned viper, you remember is he. So he, au, au. The word twice, but the determinative changed. The first determinative, we see a man praising. The second, a man leaning on a stick, which makes this F equals or F-Iowa, Iowa, which is he praises the old. There's no definite articles in ancient Egyptian, so there's no the or a or an. So if you have old, it's really the old. And because there's a W in there, the chick, that's how you know it's plural. So it's he praises the old, meaning all of the old, meaning, he gives praise to anyone who is old and all of them. Now, if we were to add a face with a stroke line and then a T to the verb of he praises, we've now changed the tense. So it's now he is praising the old. You remember how the infinitive is used for this version of the verb where you add hun to the beginning. So anytime you have hun to the beginning of a verb, it's now taking it into the specific presence using the infinitive version of the word. And week and extra week get a T. All right, another verb or word that's a verb. This is Crus or Chris, which is the hill, the mouth, and the bolt of cloth. That last one, of course, you don't recognize because it's a determinative. And in this case, it's a determinative for a tomb, because this word, Chris, is the word for tomb, excuse me, the verb, wow, messed up there. It's to bury. It's the determinative for tomb, but the verb is to bury. I got ahead of myself, because where are you going to bury someone? Well, you're going to bury them. Here we have papyrus, followed by the needles, which is a letter that hasn't come up that much, but you remember it from previous lessons. So this is I-is-sis. So I-I-S-S with the door bolt at the end for the second S. But because we have double consonants, you can cross off the doubles, and it just becomes the word is. And is, as I alluded to earlier, is the word for tomb. So first you have Kreis, which means to bury, and then you have is, which is the word for where you do the burying, tomb, or grave, or, pit, or place in the ground. Either way, it's a tomb. And, the Egyptians were big on those. What can we say? All right, now if we were to add pun, P with the N, under tomb, if you remember from way back, this is the word for this, and it's modifying tomb. So it becomes this tomb. So to bury in this tomb. Of course, you need the word in there, which we don't have. It's not a sentence, but if we were making it one. And again, the modifier comes after the noun. So not this tomb, but tomb this. All right, next up, an important word. This is the hoof, followed by the owl. Wacham. So wacham has two meanings. It means to repeat, as in to say something over again, but it can also mean reporter. If it means reporter, though, you're going to usually see it with a determinative for a man, because, women weren't really allowed to hold that many jobs in ancient Egypt. It's not sexist, it's just historical. What can I say? So if you add a determinative for a man, repeat becomes reporter, because that's what a reporter is supposed to do, just repeat facts and, not present fake news. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so political this time. All right, let's step out of that. Next word, we have the placenta and the mouth, her, back of the throat, her, H, because it's got that curved line under it. So this means before. So it usually in the sense of doing something before someone, not he was standing before her in line, like I'm going to do this before I do that. So if we were to say her swudnit, if you remember, swudnit is king. We learned that a long time ago. So this would mean before the king, not like standing before him in line, but to be before him, like to, go in front of him and present something, or, bow to him, or tell him good or bad news. Her neswut. And the swut, we remember, is one of those odd words where it's not necessarily read in the order, because the swa always is positioned first, but it's not read first because it's one of those holy hieroglyphs. All right, that brings us to our homework for this week. Freeze frame this, write it out yourself, stare at it all week, find the word breaks, and we'll return next week for a translation and we'll walk through it. No too many tricks on this one. There's no proper nouns, but a lot of words we learned this week and a few from previous weeks. Good luck with this. Leave me any questions in the comments. And as always, a like, a subscription, a bell ring, all appreciated because it helps tell YouTube to share this with more people. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for more doodling with purpose.